y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're going to review Ring of Honor's Honor For All. We're going to jump right in. This was a show that happened last night, so we're going to jump right into the show and tell you what I thought about it. First match of the night was for the Ring of Honor Television Championship. Scorpio Sky versus Punishment Martinez. I don't know what the light bulb was that went off, but as of late, Punishment Martinez's career has really taken off. He's taken a jump, and I don't know if it's the confidence that came with him becoming the TV champion, but it seems to have made him better and more enjoyable, and I really think that he's hit that point, that aha point, where he really gets it and he's really hitting his stride. This is a really good opening match. I liked it. It set the tone for what an opening match should be. I enjoyed it. Punishment Martinez wins the match. And I'm going to grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the best or worst and 5 being the best. I give this match a 3. I thought it was good. I like it as an opener. I want my opening matches to be about a 3, if you get what I mean. I want them to build to where the better matches are a bit higher up on the card, and also still be of quality. I like this match. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I see Punishment growing a lot, which is amazing. And Scorpio Sky is probably one of the most underrated wrestlers of the last 15 years. So, good match to start off the show. Next up, we have a Women of Honor match. And this was a Proving Ground match, which, if you're not familiar with Proving Ground, basically a talent in Ring of Honor can go to that's not a top contender, can go to a champion and say, I want to match with you as a Proving Ground match, and if I beat you, I get a future championship match. Which is kind of a cool concept. On this match, we have Karen Q, who we haven't seen in Ring of Honor in a little bit, versus the champion Sumie Sakai. I don't know if it's these two, and I don't know if it's maybe Sumie's getting a little bit worn out, having to be the person bearing the cross or carrying the flag for the division, but it just didn't work out for me. Coming off the first match, I felt like this one was a letdown. I didn't like it as much. Sumie Sakai wins the match, and again, I understand why you don't win every single Proving Ground match, but it's kind of the gimmick of it, right? If you have a Proving Ground match, it's because you want to elevate that person in an easy way without going through a long win streak or a number 1 contender match. But I digress. Sumie picks up the win. Overall, I give the match a 2 out of 5. I really think maybe I expected better. I think Karen Q is a great wrestler. I think Sumie Sakai is a great wrestler. So maybe my expectations were a little high, but the match to me did not hit. Now, coming off of that, the next match was probably my favorite match of the night. And it's a 4-way. This match wasn't even announced, actually, which was crazy that it would be one of my favorites. 4-way match, Kenny King versus Shane Taylor versus Chris Sabin versus Jonathan Gresham. I enjoyed this match. It gave all 4 of these guys a chance to shine. You got 2 of the talents that Ring of Honor is, I don't want to say younger talents, but newer talents to Ring of Honor that they're trying to bring up in Taylor and Gresham. And you got 2 kind of mainstays in Kenny King and Chris Sabin, who've been on TNA and are known to a lot of wrestling fans. Not to say that Shane Taylor or Jonathan Gresham aren't, But in the grand scheme of things, Kenny King and Chris Sabin are more well known. So it was a nice mix of the four wrestlers. I absolutely think Jonathan Gresham stole the show here. I believe that we're on the precipice of Jonathan Gresham really breaking out and kind of becoming this generation's Bryan Danielson, which, if you're not familiar, is Daniel Bryan. He wrestles a very similar style. He wrestles a very similar style to Zack Sabre Jr. He has a credibility to what he does. He's someone who instantly the fans get behind. I mean, they were cheering for a damn sleeper hold. A sleeper hold. He's got the fans behind that. He wins the match with the sleeper hold on Shane Taylor. I really enjoyed this. I'm a John Gresham fan, and I like most of the guys in this match. But I'm a John Gresham fan. I think he has a lot of upside potential. I think he is a guy that you can build your company around. That can be a world champion, a TV champion, a tag champion, 6-man champion. I think he can be one of those guys, and I like that he's starting to get the push into that direction. I'm going to give this match a 4 out of 5. I thought it was really good. Probably my favorite match of the night. But just the way they did it, I thought this was great. Next up, we have Chuckie T versus Bully Ray. Before the match, we see Bully Ray do his thing where he says he respects Chuck Taylor. He doesn't consider him a young boy, blah, 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 blah. Chuck Taylor says he doesn't fall for that. He still thinks Bully Ray's an asshole. Chuckie T picks up the win by DQ when Bully Ray obviously gets himself DQ'd so he can beat on Chuckie T with a chain. If we stopped right here, I probably would have gave this a 2. The extracurriculars added a bit to it, though. We had, as we've seen recently, Colt Cabana come down to try and make the save. And, try to thwart Bully Ray's efforts, which led us to Bully Ray getting the upper hand on Colt with the chain, which brought us the comeback of Trent Beretta, which was awesome. We get to see the best friends reunite. He runs Bully Ray off, added more to the match, took the match from what I thought was going to be a 2 all the way up to up a whole notch to a 3 with this extra curricular. I kind of think that during the match they were too worried about all this that was going to happen afterwards, and it took away from the match. That being said, with what happened after the match, it added to the match, if that makes sense. But I digress. I give it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was good. I enjoyed this. I enjoy the angle. I like that they're pushing Colt Cabana and Bully Ray into something. I think that could be a big money match at some point. I like the fact that we have the best friends together because we have another really good tag team to go with an already stacked lineup of good tag teams in Ring of Honor. So, just a pure level of enjoyment. I like this a lot. Next up for the night, we had a lot of prospects. Ryan Nova, FR Josie, Eli Isom, and Cheeseburger versus Will Ferrara, Red Titus, Beer City Bruiser, and Silas Young. Now, if you're not familiar with this, 6 of the 8 guys in this match, and they said it even on the commentary, are Ring of Honor Dojo graduates. So, Cheeseburger, Red Titus, and Will Ferrara have been wrestling for a bit. Ryan Nova, FR Josie, and Eli Isom are newer graduates of the Ring of Honor Dojo. I don't know that these guys, the Ryan Nova, FR Josie, Eli Isom, are quite ready for this spot yet, and they probably should have been put earlier on the card, because what they sit between is kind of leaves this as a forgettable match. And I know the way to get these guys ready is to do matches like this. This is almost the New Japan style when they put their young boys in the multi-man tag matches. But New Japan does it in the beginning of the card, which is probably where this match should have went. I thought this match was okay. I like a lot of the guys in it. I think Isom has a lot of upside. Nova and Josie, I don't know much about. They look rather interesting. More than that, I can't say. I love Cheeseburger, because who doesn't? I love the Beer City Bruiser and Silas Young. I think their gimmicks are great. The Dawgs, Red Titus, and Will Ferrara, I think, is a very underrated tag team. But to me, the match kind of fell flat. I think it was more the card placing that took away from my interest in this match. The Dawgs and the Beer City Bruiser and Silas Young pick up the win. I'm going to give this match a 2 out of 5. I don't want to be overly critical on this because of what we have involved in it. And I don't want it to come off like I'm just crapping all over what they did. Objectively, it had no business being at this part of the card. We had an emotional return. We had a Bully Ray and Chuck Taylor match, 2 stars, and what follows it is some more stars. So I think this would have been better served as the opening match or earlier in the card. Maybe I would have thought of it more positively. It kind of felt like the quintessential piss break match here, or bathroom break match. So, again, I don't want to be too overly critical on it, but I'm more critical on the person that made the decision to put this match where it is, if you understand. Maybe they should have put it on a pre-show, had them get out in front of an audience. Still, either way. Without going in that too far, we have Matt Taven come out, who was scheduled for a match with Marty Scurll, the villain. He comes out in some shorts and sandals and cuts a hell of an interview and basically says that he considers himself the uncrowned champion, is holding a bag with obviously the shape of a championship belt inside. He never reveals it to us because we're not worthy of seeing it, which I love that. I think Matt Taven, much like I said with Punishment Martinez, Matt Taven is taking that next step into the upper echelon. I really think that Matt Taven is setting himself as one of the main players in Ring of Honor. He's putting himself in that conversation with the Cody Rhodes and the Jay Lethals and the Christopher Daniels and Dalton Castles of the world. I think he's pushing his way in, and I really wouldn't be surprised, and I kind of hope it happens, if we don't see Matt Taven as a world champion by the end of this year. With that being said, Matt Taven says wrestling Marty Scurll is beneath him, so he's going to have his Horror King, which brings out Vinny Marseglia, wrestle Marty. I kind of liked this match. I really enjoyed it. The interview was amazing. I thought it was really good. Marty and Vinny matched up a lot better than I thought they would. I thought it would be a little bit awkward, but it really wasn't. They played off each other really well. They played to each other's strengths. I thought this was a really enjoyable match. Marty picks up the win. Afterwards, we see Matt Taven and TK O'Ryan come down to lay a 3-way beatdown on Marty, which brings out Cody Rhodes, which we're going to talk about in a second. There's a pull apart. I enjoyed this. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a fun match, a fun, interesting way. The Matt Taven interview was amazing. How it led to what's coming up next, I thought was really cool. I kind of seen it coming, but still was cool. Which they used this to go right into a match with TK O'Ryan and Cody Rhodes. Or Cody, however you would call him. Again, I like this match a lot. I had some reservations going into this with TK O'Ryan and Cody. How would they mesh with each other? We haven't seen much of TK O'Ryan since his leg injury in singles matches, so there was that question of, is TK going to be able to do this? Is he going to be able to pull off a singles match with a guy the caliber of Cody Rhodes? And he really did. He stood his ground. They had a really good match. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I kind of want to see more of the Kingdom versus the Bullet Club, specifically Marty and Cody. Maybe Hangman Adam Page into the mix. I like this. I think the whole Kingdom has elevated themselves, and maybe it's like I said with Punishment, carrying the 6-man titles may have given them a confidence that they didn't have prior to that. But it kind of feels like Matt Taven has elevated himself, where in the old Kingdom, Matt Taven was under Adam Cole. It feels like Matt Taven has elevated himself into the Adam Cole role and has brought up Vinny Marseglia and TK O'Ryan with him. And they're coming up, and he's bringing them up, and they're showing different sides of their personalities. And I really enjoyed it. I love this match. I give it a 4 out of 5. Cody picks up the win. I really enjoyed this. TK O'Ryan did great. Like I said, I can't say enough good about the whole entire Kingdom as a faction. And I love what they're doing with it. Next up, we have for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, the Dealer, Nick Aldis, versus Flip Gordon. The story, other than the fact that Flip could potentially be a world champion, is that if Flip wins, he obviously goes to All In, where he's been trying to get booked. Because if he wins, he's the one that's going to represent the NWA wrestling Cody at All In. Cody joins the commentary team. I thought this was a really good match. I liked this match a lot. I thought probably one of the better Flip Gordon matches I've seen. I think Nick Aldis is a little bit underrated. I think his time in TNA was at a point where TNA kind of didn't have the cachet that it used to have. He didn't get the rub like a Samoa Joe or an AJ Styles or Christopher Daniels or some of the other guys that have gotten that rub from TNA did. But I thought his TNA run was actually excellent. I thought he's all in all, in my opinion, he was one of the better TNA champions that there's been. And I like his run now as the NWA champion. Again, I don't think it's being seen by many people. I mean, outside of this Ring of Honor run that he's been on and the YouTube show, it's popular, but it's not as popular as, say, being the Elite or other things. The point I'm trying to make here is Nick Aldis quietly is one of the best wrestlers in the world. That's the point I'm trying to get at in a roundabout way. I thought this was a really good match. I thought they played a lot into the fact that Nick was a lot bigger than Flip is. I enjoyed it. I think Nick Aldis is a great representative of the NWA. I kind of wish that they would get a TV show or something, or even if it's just a web series, specifically for the NWA, not him defending it at different shows, which I like that model too. I think what they're doing with it is smart. You're not throwing away money. You're building the brand without having to waste it, because you go to a bar wrestling, or you go to Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, or you go to Combat Zone, or you go to Ring of Honor, or any of the other independents across the country, and most of them are going to want that match on their card. So you get them exposure with different kinds of fans all over the country. However, ultimately, I think the payoff should be an NWA TV show, whether it's a web-based show or it's on some channel somewhere. I think that's what they need to really get off the ground. All that being said, I thought this was a really good match. Nick Aldis picks up the win. Flip Gordon gives a very valiant effort. I give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed this match again. Just 3 matches in a row that I thoroughly enjoyed. I like the fact that after the match, Cody Rhodes came down and we seen some signs of respect between Aldis and Cody and showing respect to Flip and the effort he made. Also played up a little bit of the tension between Cody and Nick Aldis. Cody and Nick go off, leave the ring for Flip, who's standing there collecting himself, getting the admiration when Bully Ray hits the ring and attacks Flip, which continues that feud. So Bully attacks Flip, leaves, chases off, goes over to the commentary, chases Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni, because Ian Riccaboni, of course, has been saying bad things about Bully Ray on the commentary. I love the fact that Bully Ray, a loved wrestling legend at this point. Wrestling fans absolutely love Bully Ray. I mean, whether it be as his run as Bully Ray in TNA or as the Dudley Boys, he's someone we want to cheer. And he's making it so difficult for the fans to cheer that he's turning those cheers into boos, and I mean, they don't make many people like this anymore. He's a great old school heel that doesn't give a crap if he's going to sell a t-shirt. He doesn't have ring music. He comes out with no ring music. He lets you hear him get booed. Kind of like Tommaso Ciampa is doing on NXT. And Ciampa's doing a great job. Don't get me wrong. But Bully Ray does it at a whole nother level. A whole level of believability to what he is. Because where he's been and what he's done adds to just the credibility of it. He's probably easily one of the most credible wrestlers that Ring of Honor has. I mean, between him, some other guys like the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, Jay Lethal, Christopher Daniels, the credibility of their roster is a lot of what makes Ring of Honor special. And Bully Ray is right there at the top in that category. All that being said, we go into the main event of the night, which I thought was for the Tag Team Championships, but obviously it was a non-title match. We have the Young Bucks versus the Addiction versus the Briscoe brothers. I kind of feel like this was a paint-by-numbers match, and when I say that, it feels like I've seen this match 15 times, 20 times already. And not that that's a bad thing. I think these are 3 of maybe the top 4 or 5 tag teams in the world. If I was to list the top 5 tag teams in the world, all 3 of these teams would be on that list. I think they're all great. The reason I say that part is the paint-by-numbers description took it to me from being a 5-star or a 5 out of 5 match to a 4. It's almost like you hear a song and you really like a song, and then whether it be Spotify keeps it coming up on your playlist, or if you're listening to radio still, it keeps playing on the radio all the time. Or however you hear it, you get to the point where you hear it enough that you know every note, every word, everything. That's how this kind of felt. I kind of knew and felt like everything I seen, I knew it was coming, and I knew the setups, and I knew this, and I knew how it would go. And I don't want this to come off negatively. I just feel like with these 3 teams, we could have broke out of that formula and had something really special. And that's just what I'm saying. Not to say that it wasn't a high level, really entertaining match. It was. It was like I said, a 4 out of 5. But the talent that's involved could give us 5s out of 5s every night if they really wanted to. And I'm not saying that they didn't want to. I just feel like this match felt like they all 6 men rested on their laurels. The Young Bucks picked up the win, which is where I realized, oh, it wasn't a tag team title shot match. But that's going to have ramifications in the Ring of Honor Tag Championships going forward, so I see why they did. All in all, I really like the match. I hope what I'm saying doesn't really come off too negatively. I hope you get what I kind of mean with that. But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed most of this card. I thought it was a really solid show for not being a pay-per-view, just being a Ring of Honor show that they're putting on Honor Club. I liked it a lot. And giving it an overall, I'm going to give the show a 3.5 out of 5. There were a couple down points. Basically the Prospects match and the Women of Honor match were a little bit of a down points for me. Other than that, I liked or loved a lot more of what was happening on the show. I really hope that what they're doing with Matt Taven propels him into a championship, because that's the trajectory he's on, and if they don't see that, I hope it's not another situation like Dalton Castle or a Tyler Black before him, where they waited too long to pull the trigger on making somebody a champion, and it kind of peaked and then was coming back down. I hope it's not that situation with Matt Taven, because I think he's heading towards his peak. So you want to get that belt on him on the rise up. Just my opinion. But that being said, overall enjoyable show. If you didn't catch it and you have Honor Club, go back and watch it. And I'm sorry I spoiled it, but why would you watch a review if you didn't expect there to be spoilers? Overall, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Thought it was rather good. Thought it was entertaining. Definitely made my Friday night better. With all that being said, make sure you like this video. Throw some comments if you agree with some of the matches, some of my criticisms, some of my praise. Let me know what you think down here. What do you think the best match of the night was? I still say it was a 4-way. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Make sure you hit like and share. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ding that bell so you get notifications every time I make a video. All that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been a Heel Heat review of Ring of Honor's Honor for All.